Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. October 24 is Evelina Falenta's birthday. She's the second place winner of Polish Idol Season 1. And I celebrate her birthday as a singles pride day because she has almost a marriage to herself, I would say. And so she turns 46 years old this year, so this Friday. If you're single, better yet, if you're solo sexual, I encourage you to join me on an economy-wide strike for the entire economy of the world. If everybody who is solo sexual, and there's probably at least hundreds of millions of solo sexuals around the world, if we all struck out for one day to make our impact be known, right? Now, also, I couldn't get a lot of people to join me. Most people who are solo sexual have very tight fixed incomes and can't afford to strike out for one day. So I'm also thinking about putting together a strike fund so that we could fund each other's strikes. So you guys saw in my last video, I put about $50 in the fund. If you'd like to contribute, especially if you could contribute some hard currency, right? I contributed a bunch of copper, as you guys saw, mostly because I've been working on Zincard, and I don't know what to do with my copper pennies otherwise, right? I pull them out of circulation. But feel free to contribute some copper, silver, gold, palladium, bismuth, whatever metal suits you, tantalum. Let's put together a big hard currency strike fund for singles to be strong. Now, what do I demand for? It's probably easiest to talk about what I demand for by talking about the last couple of times I felt disadvantaged for being single. For starters, I have to pay all of my bills on one income. So one of the most painful bills is my car insurance, because not only do I pay it on one income, but it's a lot more than what people pay with two incomes. So for example, I keep talking about the friend I know at church who was very nice to set me on my first blind date in ages. He's married, a little bit older than me, and the two of them pay less to insure two cars than I do to insure one, and they get to use two different incomes to pay for it. And that's just painful, in my opinion. And guess what? My job still requires me to drive to work. It's not like cars are something that are specific to couples, right? And so some sort of commuting / telecommuting benefit would have been nice for me, right? Anything that can help me reduce my car dependency will be nice, right? Now, granted, what I now do doesn't really bode well with telecommuting. Even if I could, I don't think I would want to. The students really need me, so maybe not that. I was working at a technology startup in a past lifetime. I was the only one of the few people there who was single, and I would often stay late to cover all the hours that nobody wanted to cover. Now, people also tend to forget that I only have the same set of hands that go into coding whatever at the technology startup, also have to cook my meals, also have to wash my clothes, all the other stuff, right? People seem to forget that for some reason. So a lot of times when I'm working long hours like that, I depend on all sorts of shortcuts like eating out and all sorts of other stuff, right? And it feels like a tax. It would have been nice if the place I was working at had provided some sort of meal benefits, right? This is a very small startup. They don't have a cafeteria, so that's a little bit tricky. But at the community college, I could certainly see them providing a meal plan to people who have to juggle a lot, right? It would certainly benefit the quality of the work. Also, it would benefit the connectivity of your faculty, right? If your faculty is regularly eating in the dining hall and networking with students, getting to know what the students want and need out of their course material, I think that would be a good investment. I really do. I think the college I was working at is too shallow to see that, right? That's a good investment. That's not expenditure, in my opinion. A lot of times when I go on vacation, let's suppose I get 10 vacation days at my job, which is pretty typical. A lot of people don't realize that as a single guy, your days don't go as far as other people's days. Why? For example, when I took a trip to Kerrville, Texas to go see the solar eclipse, I only had one set of hands driving. Other people who went as a couple could take turns driving. And I hardly got to see anything along the way. By the time I stopped at a rest stop, the only thing I could do was to sleep in my car, and then oftentimes get harassed by people in the local town. It's a small town, right? You're sleeping in your car, parked at the library. People will harass you, right? Cops will think you're high, drunk, whatever. And other people who drove as a couple didn't have to. In fact, they could stop at the town and actually sightsee rather than get harassed, right? And so maybe some more vacation time because it doesn't go as far. It's like I'm getting a currency that only buys half as much, right? It might be 10 units, but other people get $10. I get 10 Chinese yuan or something, right? It really does feel like that sometimes. I'm just pointing it out. I'm not saying whether life should be fair or not. I'm just pointing out that my vacation days don't go nearly as far as some other people's do, right? Simply, right now I'm eyeing. I made a friend. I wouldn't say it's dating material, but I met a girl on a dating site. She lives in Spokane, and I love Wallace, Idaho. I've been thinking about the two of us both taking a trip to Wallace. Now she doesn't drive at all, and I suppose I could fly there and get a rental car, but Wallace in the wintertime is tricky enough. I don't want to be driving an unfamiliar car. But then it's 20 hours away, and I'm thinking I could, a 20-hour drive for a couple is probably just one day, right? For me, it's like 3 days, right? Because I don't have somebody to take turns with, and it just burns through a lot of vacation time. And I mean, I'll be off from the community college at that point, but I work at a tutoring center. I'll lose a lot of hours. More importantly, I don't want to lose the connectivity of the work. Every time I've taken too long of a break from those tutoring jobs, you lose the connectivity with the students. I'm just pointing out. I'm not saying if this is right or wrong. I'm just pointing out that when I take a vacation day, it doesn't go nearly as far as when somebody who is married or has a committed relationship takes the same amount of vacation time. I'm just pointing that out. So what did we mention here? Food benefits, the differential in the vacation, and car, right? Car insurance premiums and all that. Although I would like to see systemic change with the car insurance anyway, right? Hopefully, when AI starts to drive, who drives will be less relevant. Your car insurance rates will be based on what you drive as opposed to who's driving anyway, right? More than anything else. All right, I'm just pointing out what I noticed, right? Anyway, feel free to leave a comment on what you would like to see singles strike for. Now, do I despise it when my colleagues take time off to tend to their family? Not at all. I'm all for family leave, but I'm all for singles leave. Now, here's another thing I would love. How about make it acceptable for singles to leave work no more than 10, 20 minutes overtime, right? Especially if we want to go out on a date or something, right? Make it acceptable for us to clock out like 20 minutes after we should, at most, right? That would be another good benefit I would love to see. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.